The sabotage. Oh, the sabotage. Oh, that's right. Okay. I was on a roll, you guys. I know it was only a couple of days, but I was on a roll and I was really excited about doing the 12 days of books. And I missed posting yesterday because I have the crud. So, a little backstory really quickly. I got the flu in 2001. No, I got the flu in the year 2000. And that was the last time that I had the flu for 20 years. And then I got COVID. Now that I've had COVID, can you say COVID? I don't know. People don't really say it. But I had it, COVID 19. I got it actually in 2019, the first time. I ended up getting it two more times after that, 2021 and 2023. 2023, I tested negative though, so maybe I didn't have it, but everybody else in my house did, so who knows? I've been very diligent about getting my vaccines, but since I had COVID, I am much more susceptible to getting colds and getting sick. So even in between having COVID the first time and before the vaccine, I still managed to get like colds and I'm more susceptible to infections and things like that. I guess that is one of the side effects of COVID. It started on Christmas Day. I had a little tickle in my throat and I was like, oh, here we go. And my husband was having some flu-like symptoms as well. So it, was a huge possibility that I would contract whatever he had and did. But he had been having some issues, some respiratory issues back in November. He got past that for the most part. We went to Miami. We saw Usher, which I've already talked about. And then when we came back, for a few days after we came back, we were all a little coughy. We all had a little bit of cough, but not anything that like knocked us out or, you know, put us down or anything like that. But then he went into work on Thursday. He was already he was already still suffering like the lingering effects of the cough, but he was fine. Like he had the cough, but that was it. He had energy, he was eating, he was doing all that. Well, Friday the 20th, the cough got worse. He started to have like aches and pains and chills and stuff like that. And at one point he was having like really bad headaches, but he wasn't really telling us, what was wrong. We would hear him cough and just assume that it was the same cough. Like he was just not getting over this cough. But he definitely was starting to have flu-like symptoms. And I think he even thought that like, well, no, it's fine. He also did like a woodworking project that weekend and he was out sanding and I think that may have irritated him too. So we didn't think that he was like coming down with the flu, but yes, indeed, he did come down with some sort of flu. And then now I have it as well. Yesterday, though, I thought that I was going to join Elizabeth. Hey, that Elizabeth, I'm coming to join you, honey. If you know the reference, you know. Oh, the headache was so bad. I had this weird cough, a weird tickle in my throat, which is still there, but not as bad. And I had a slight fever, not a big fever, not anything too alarming. It was rough. So he did go to the doctor and the doctor prescribed him and he's like, he thinks that what we have is the flu. Based on how the symptoms are starting to resolve, it feels very much like the flu as well. I've been power slamming water. I've had some magnesium. Our good friends sent us over a ton of stuff like the Airborne and the Vicks, everything. Like they are just amazing. Tissues. They did like a whole Walmart, like DoorDash, whatever, order. And oh my God, I'm so grateful to them. So I still have a cough. As you can hear, my voice is still very much like strained. I've been having coughing fits. I was supposed to have a New Year's Eve party, and that's not going to happen because it is the 28th of December, and New Year's Eve is 3 days from now, and there's no way I can get a party together in this time. Yesterday was supposed to be the day where I got all the stuff together for the party. The house is good, but I'm just not going to do that to myself. I'm going to rest, which is what my friends told me I needed to do because they say that I need to sit down. But I still want to talk to you guys. I cannot see you guys, partially because I normally need glasses. I'm afraid to put on my glasses though, because I think they're just going to make my head start hurting again. So we're not going to do that. I don't know if this is in focus. I don't know anything. I'm going on a wing and a prayer. And I was supposed to do my hair. I did not want to come before you with my hair all shot out like it is. But sister just don't really feel like doing her hair right now. And it's not really necessary because I'm just going to be in the bed. So I have assorted hats and scarves that I can wear. Anyway, so I wanted to tell you that what we're going to do today, I have to sneeze. Lordy. Oh, man. Okay. Yeah, a sneeze sets off a whole firestorm of symptoms. Like I had the flu trifecta yesterday, y'all. I could not eat. I did not get sick, but every time I tried to eat food, it was like, ugh, it was horrible. And then I had the freaking headache, which was insane. And I had a scratchy throat too. And I was getting a little acid reflux. And I'm like, acid? Like, really? As if I don't have enough problems, right? Anyway, I know I've just been a Debbie Downer for the first 10 minutes of this video. So we're going to lift the mood back up. And I'm going to talk to you today about 3 books. So this is what I plan on doing today because I'm going to have to film these. I'm clearly going to have to batch my content, which I should be doing anyway, which was the plan when I was feeling like a normal person. But I lost the book. Oh my goodness, you guys. I tell you what, if I were an organized person, I would be amazing. Like I'd be a billionaire. But I guess it's not cool to be a billionaire right now. So I'll be a multimillionaire. I think you can get away with that. I have 3 books that I want to talk about because I'm going to do yesterday's video, today's video, and tomorrow's video in this one video. That way I'll be a little bit ahead of the game. Yeah. So this would be, let me see, days 3, 4, and 5. Yeah, we're doing days 3, 4, and 5 in this one video. And we're going to talk about, or books 3, 4, and 5. How about that? Because it's the 12 days of books. So I decided to make it a themed video and to talk about books that are written by women, one, but also that where the women are talking about life from a different angle. And I think this is a good way to introduce these books because they're all very interesting in their own way. One is nonfiction, it's a memoir, and the other 2 are very short fiction books that I thoroughly enjoyed and definitely love. The other 2. The first one, I don't know that I enjoyed it as much. I take that back. I enjoyed it immensely. Reading it was wonderful. And I enjoyed the story. It's just, it didn't hit the same as the other 2. All right, give me a second. Let me see if I can find the third one. Okay, so I found the book, but you know what? I think I'm going to add, I decided to add a 4th. So we're getting really ahead of the power curve here. It's weird that we're going to have this one weird video that will have 4 days of the 12 days of books. But that's how my life goes. So let's do it. And the reason why I want to do it this way too is because all 4 of these books are, again, women authors. One is a nonfiction. One is a nonfiction. It's a memoir. And the other 3 are just very interesting books. And they're also very small books. So if I do it this way, I can talk about all of them together and we'll just have one day that encompasses 4 days of books. We can do that. We can do whatever we want, right? Because this is our channel. So this would be the 27th, the 28th, the 29th, and the 30th. I'm just going to go through this really quickly because one, I just want to introduce you to these books. And also, I don't know how much longer I can talk. So let's go. The first book is Annie Ernaux's Simple Passion. Annie Ernaux recently won the Nobel Prize for her memoir, which I do have and started reading, but kind of soft DNF'd. She is a French writer who has been writing forever. I would be able to tell you how long if I could see, but I can't. She was born in 1940, though. Okay, I can see that. In Normandy. She, like I said, she's French. And she's been writing for years, most of her life. And she wrote this particular book, Simple Passion, in the 70s, I'm wanting to say. Because this is an actual first edition. No, she wrote this in the 90s. Okay. So she wrote this book in the 90s. She wrote this book in 1991. And it was translated into English in 1993. And this is actually a first edition of that book. I was able to find it. And I had to have it. I listened to this book on Audible on the way to a massage. I've told this story before. It just sucked me in and I was just all in. Now, this book ain't for everybody, okay? It's about a woman who is having an affair with a married man and how it twists her and ties her up into knots and takes her out of who she actually is. And it becomes all consuming for her. And she very, what is the word I'm looking for? And she very openly explains how this affair is ruining her to a certain extent. It is giving her all of the feels, making her, turning her, it has turned her into a woman that she never thought she would be, and how she deals with that. I think that it is a very powerful read because the character is not a younger woman. She's not old, but she's not a younger woman. She's definitely a mature woman who has children and was married herself. I do believe she's divorced in this book. I could be wrong about that, but she's not a young woman. She's not, it's a lesson to be learned, but it's a lesson that she's learned more in a mature life. So it very much focuses on how the affair turns her into someone she never thought she would be. And even though she is the side chick, even though she's even off homewrecker vibes, she is definitely empathetic. The character is definitely empathetic in this book, very much so. And you feel her vulnerability and you want to hold her hand when you say, like, girl, let that man go. That's this book. I loved it. I loved it enough to buy the first edition. That's how much I loved it. And like I said, I listened to it on Audible. Now, I have not gone back in and read this yet. I do plan on doing so. But I wanted to read a couple more of Annie Ernaux's books first. And she does write about being a woman and the vulnerabilities of being a woman and, all that comes with that. And you may agree with her or you may not. Now, her memoir that she won the Nobel Prize for, like I said, I did start reading it, and it reads very much like a Behind the Music episode on MTV. That one is definitely like Daisy Jones and the Six, but in memoir form. Very interesting. And so I kind of had, because it was just like a blurb about this and a blurb about that, and it's her take on things that happened from the time she was young until now. Like I said, she was born in 1940, so she's experienced a lot. But this particular book, it's gripping. And it's very short. It's very short. I think it's like 69 pages. I think it's the shortest book that I read. 64 pages. Yeah. The next book is Consent by Jill Cement. And I had a lot of mixed feelings about this book. This is a memoir, however. I don't think I rated it. I definitely rated this 5 stars. I don't think I rated this one. I don't typically rate memoirs. But this was actually a second biography for her. This was a biography. This was fiction. But this was a biography. And not biography, but memoir. And she's examining her very much like December romance with her husband, who she ended up being married to for like 40 years, and wondering now if she wasn't Me Too'd. Basically, that's what this is. This is a re-examining of her relationship with her husband. And when I say December, I mean like May 2001 to December 2002. Like they were very much like 30 years apart, and she was 17 when she met him. Now, given the time that she met him, and the way that the world was at that time and the way that the world viewed women and children in particular. 17, when I was 17, my mom was like, you're an adult, you know, and I know that to some people it's like, oh, clutch your pearls. It just was the way the world was. So at 17, she had a lot of autonomy, and she was, I do believe, also emancipated at that time. Not that it mattered. Viewed through the lens of time, this was not that far-fetched that an older man would end up being with a younger woman in this way. He was an instructor of hers, but not like in school. Like, she decided to take an art class and he was the artist, and you know, and she says that she was very much like wanting to possess him. And I don't know. My thoughts on it, it's cringy now. It was probably cringy back then, but we didn't know it. I will say though, if a woman can decide that she doesn't want to be with someone, or if a young person, a 17-year-old, 18-year-old can decide that they don't want to be with someone, can they decide that they do want to be with someone? And this kind of explores that. Was she Me Too'd? Wasn't she? She had a lot of stuff. I will say that, and I've said this in the review of this book, knowingly or not knowingly, he preyed on the fact that she was already dealing with some, abuse in that way in her life. So in that sense, she was not coming to him from a normal place. And did he or did he not take advantage of that? You know, but they stayed married for 100 years, and she has some regrets, and I guess she has some not, and there are in many instances she doesn't have any. So this is very interesting to explore. At the end of the day, she doesn't want her husband to be seen as a villain, and I don't think he is. Not in that way. I don't think he is a villain, but she does protect him throughout this book, and some people may find that off-putting. I don't, because I'm taking her at her word. One of my favorite books this year, I mean, absolute favorite books, and this one was a short one too. I think this one is less than 100 pages. Yeah, another 69-page book. 69, if you read the author's notes, 70. The English Understand Wool by Helen DeWitt. Now, this is one of those storybook books, right? And it looks like it looks like a children's book. I love that. This was so good, y'all. I can't really tell you about it without really spoiling it. I'm not going to divulge too much information. You can only imagine me getting through this video with all the coughing fits that I'm having. The sabotage. Anyway, but it's about a young girl. I just feel like the whole story is a spoiler. It's about a young girl who's, I guess this is not a spoiler, her parents weren't really her parents. They were, she was not their biological child. I'll put it that way. And they raised her and loved her, and they just equipped her to move through the world in a way that you don't want to mess with her. That's really all I can tell you. Like, I don't want to give it away because the story is so good. And I feel like I've already said too much. I really do. So it's just read the book. That's all I can say. Just read the book. This is one you're going to want to read and just read for yourself. Now, I looked at the Goodreads reviews on this one, and a lot of people love it. It was a recommendation from the Parnassus Book Channel on TikTok. Ann Patchett recommended this. I'm obsessed. And I think Jack from Jack in the Books is either going to read this soon or has already read it, and I just haven't seen the video. Jack, you need to read this book, man. I'm telling you. I love it. I love it. And it's so much is said in these 69 pages. Like, so much. And then this again is strong women writers just giving you the business. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're just telling it like it is. And I love that for me and you. I love that for us. The last book is Bonjour Tristes. This was just a delight to read. This book, I see why people like it. The author, when she wrote it, she was 18 years old. She was born in 1935. I'm wanting to say this is the book that was written in the 50s. This one was written in the 50s. Yeah, 1955. And it's twisty. It has twists and turns. They say that the main character Cecile is a spoiled brat. I don't know. The word spoiled brat doesn't no, she wasn't a spoiled brat. She was a young lady who lost her mother and now her dad is raising her, and he doesn't really know how to raise a kid. So he puts her into his life rather than building a life with her. And she has to grow up pretty fast. That is what this book is about. And some things happen and she wants some things her way. That's the part where people might think she's spoiled. But I don't think she wanted things to change so much. And someone comes in, a friend of her mom's comes in, kind of upends things, and we see how that is resolved. And yes, it is a twist. I was not expecting that ending or that twist. It's not right at the end, but I was not expecting how this this worked out. It was like a moment. So good though, and she wrote this at 18. I don't know what else Francoise Sagan has written. But I'm curious to see what else she has written, because this is definitely an author that, if she does have other books out there, which I'm pretty sure she does because she wrote this one. This was her first book. I would be interested in reading. And again, a very small book. This one is This one is 130 pages. So good. So good. 3 authors. Oh. 3 authors. Helen DeWitt, I do believe, is English, but I'm not sure. Jill Cement is American, and then her 2 French authors who were actually more than likely contemporaries. Francoise is about 5 years older than Annie. So, yeah. So, I gotta sneeze. So, yes, if you like books by women who can write, who are not playing. I still have yet to read Jill Simmon's fiction books, but apparently her one fiction book, I can't think of the name of it right now, is really good. So I'm going to try that out soon. I want to put that on my TBR. But as a memoir though, this was great. Like, it did not read as much like a memoir as it read like first person fiction book. I mean, it could have very well have been a first person fiction book. She's definitely a great writer. All of these ladies are. And so I highly recommend them. I'm gonna go now because I need to take some medicine and get my life together. Try to hydrate a bit so that I could film more of these videos from the headboard. Some more headboard content for you guys, because I'm not going anywhere, so I might as well go ahead and film the next few days and get ahead of the game. All right, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.